another week and it's plenty shit to talk about. Plenty shit to talk about. So you know we talking loose, lipping, new vision, new mission. Low, let's get it. Low, where you been? Start checking in. New pod for your ass, yep, let's begin. This the shit I recommend. Stand out, fuck lending in. Any topic been a trend, please believe we weighing in. Do this on the weekly. On any app you can log on. Search Loose Lips, subscribe and we gon' mob on. Do it for Carolina, blowing on palmetto trees. Start checking out Low, tell them what it be. Just another week and it's plenty shit to talk about. Plenty shit to talk about. So you know we talking loose, lipping, new vision, new mission. Low, let's get it. This is classy, classy, ratchet, raise your glasses. She gon' toast, high go, she make it happen. Loose, lipping, you tripping, new money, keep spending.
All right, y'all. So welcome to Loose Lips Podcast. This is episode 42, and I'm your girl, Miss Fierce. Let me go ahead and give a disclaimer because first of all, we're going Facebook Live. So shout out to everybody tuning in on Facebook. Good afternoon, good morning to all of our listeners on Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, now on Anchor FM. Let me go ahead and Anchor FM.
My color's finished in the dryer, y'all.
Dry is done. What up, Chris? So let me go ahead and give a disclaimer. This is Loose Lips Podcast. Loose Lips Podcast has been around for over a year now, officially as of January the 15th. I do not want to cause any confusion. I know the last two episodes, y'all have saw me with my TCM fam. Shout out to Millie, S. Tasha, and everybody for holding me down. If you are true to this and not new to this, you know Debbie, my cousin, was originally the co-host of Loose Lips Podcast, and this bitch left to go dry eyebrows on YouTube. And well, she is back officially on Loose Lips Podcast. TCM now officially has a podcast, so I'm 1/4 of the TCM podcast. Loose Lips Podcast is officially now back to myself and Miss Deb Case, because Loose Lips Podcast is for men and women, but mainly for the women, because you know we get real raw on here. So everybody, let's welcome back Debbie's trifling ass. You know I had to be shady.
So, I'm your girl, Deb Cakes, with 2 B's. I am so happy to be back. I miss y'all hoes, lovers and friends, and all of the above.
And this is your girl, Lo.
But I'm back.
She is back, and I have to shout out Is the Real Truth from I Say Podcast. I did a show with them guys, and Is the Real Truth, it was an avid listener of Loose Lips Podcast, and he wanted to talk to Debbie. So this probably would not have happened if it was not for him, because me and Debbie was just content, and you know, I was okay with her doing her own thing. But, you know, we walking our truth on Loose Lips Podcast, so let's be honest. Me and Debbie was almost about to fight for 3 hours.
Listen, so if y'all are true fans, I'm pretty sure y'all caught the post that went up. I don't even know the date. I don't really care for the date.
No.
They went up. They were there. Okay? They was there. They are now gone and deleted.
Yes.
We are family. It's all love.
And we are
moment,
back.
I don't know what it was. It was the confusion.
Yes, it was confusion.
We are back.
And we're stubborn. And we're stubborn.
This literally took us probably a max of like 4 hours. I think we was laughing by the end of the night, and she was asking me to go get her some snacks.
Yes, because snacks brings the world together and all that good stuff. So yes, so let's go ahead and give a disclaimer, because we normally go live on Instagram. However, we're gonna kind of revert to Facebook, maybe switch back and forth. So for the Facebook viewers, yes, it is late as we are recording. It's 10:22 p.m. And if you are true to this and not new to this, you know, if me and Debbie get sleepy, we start to ramble. So if somebody could just type, hey, take your asses to bed. and we will do that. So before we jump into the show, if you already have not, make sure you subscribe to us. First of all, go to Anchor FM and subscribe to us and become a supporter because we can make money off of that. But if you don't want to do that, we are on Apple, we are on YouTube, we are on Google Play, we are on Spotify, we are on iHeartRadio, we are on Spreaker.com. Shout out to all of our listeners, to our true lovers and friends of Loose Lips Podcast for hanging in there. It was a rough spell, but me and Debbie got back together for the kids.
Yeah,
which, you know.
We always try to get back together for the kids.
Yes.
Our family is one big happy family now.
Yes.
Still only claim one of my kids, but it's okay. One of them is hers half the time.
Not that little nigga. Not that little nigga. So, we're going to go ahead and jump right into Loose Lips Podcast. So, if you are once again true to this and not new to this, you know we always start off with a petty positive. But before we do that, I've missed my horn.
You always say you brought the horn back.
I brought the horn back. No.
Why you ain't doing the horn?
I don't know why I haven't been doing the horn, but I just did the horn. So, Debbie, do you have a petty positive?
My damn self. It ain't even no positive in this. But
Okay.
It is. So, I have had a lot going on this last week.
Mm-hmm.
So, my mind is like all over the place. But I can't even blame it on that because I had wrote down in my book.
Mm-hmm.
I show up to work on, what?
It was,
Monday?
what's today, Wednesday?
Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, it was Monday. Monday, I have 50 million things that I'm trying to do that I'm doing before I go to work because I'm on late shift Monday. I don't have to be at work until 12 o'clock. Anyway, I ended up running a little bit behind and I didn't get to work until 1. Well, that's fine. You know, I'm late, whatever. It's 1 o'clock. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm working. I'm trying to figure out why my supervisor's coming to my desk talking about why didn't you call me and tell me you was going to be like, nigga, it's an hour. Okay? First of all, you know I'm coming to work. I don't miss no days of work. So I'm coming.
Yeah.
I go to take my lunch break at 4, and he comes in. What is you doing? What you mean what I'm doing? It's my lunch break. I'm taking my lunch. You are not on late shift. What are you talking about? Yes I am. What you mean? Long story short, my ass done wrote down the wrong date, and they made me leave at 5:30. So the petty is, because you was late for a late shift, that you didn't even have to work. The positive is that I still got some kind of hours in. So I still made a little bit of coins. Just not all.
Hey, a little bit of coin is better than no coin.
You damn right.
Now, so I have a petty positive. My petty positive is coming from this show called Heartland that is currently on Netflix that my daughter discovered because she wants to be a veterinarian and she loves animals. Now, I have not been watching the show from the beginning. I've been catching tidbits, but today I got hooked on it because she's been watching it. So on Heartland, there's this girl named Georgie. She's being adopted by this family. And something happened and she has a horse and they cannot afford the horse anymore. So they sold the horse and somebody comes pick it up. So the positive is there's a family that wants to adopt this little girl and I am starting to love the show. The petty is when they came to pick up Georgie's horse, you know, for some reason, white kids just love to turn around and be like, I hate you. I hate you. I don't want to be here no more. And Georgie takes off running. Now, what confused me is how all the adults stood there and watched Georgie take off running. And secondly, it's freaking snow. It's like 3 feet of snow. Georgie has took off running. No one's going after her. And I don't know where Georgie is because we had to stop watching to record the show.
Okay, time out. So, the people came to adopt Georgie or they came to adopt the horse?
No, Georgie was being adopted by this family. They bought Georgie a horse. They could no longer afford the horse, so someone came to pick up the horse because they were selling it. Georgie got upset because said horse was being sold, so Georgie turned around and said, I hate y'all, I hate y'all, I hate y'all. And she's 8 years old. She takes off running. All the adults, I think about 3, are standing there watching Georgie run in the snow.
And you know what? If your ass want to run out here in the goddamn snow, run. First of all, you said it's 3 feet of snow.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna get far. You'll be back because your ass is gonna get cold and hungry.
Yeah.
She's back. She coming back.
Yes, at this moment, I don't know where Georgie's at, but they were planning on celebrating her birthday the next day. So
Georgie is on her way back home.
well, I hope she come back because I'll be on the way back home for my cake. Like, I'm still upset about my horse, but I'm here for my cake and for my gifts. I ain't that stupid. So, that's my petty positive, and I only have one for the week. Normally, I have a bunch.
She has a few.
Normally, I have a bunch. So, let's jump into... I did a poll of the week, and let me pull that up, because I did get some notifications from a lot of males when I posted the poll. I posted it on Facebook, and I posted it on Instagram and on the Loose Lips page on Instagram. I'm going to run a poll, too, to see if I should give you access back to the Instagram page.
I'm thinking like, I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, you didn't see it.
You're going to do a poll to see if I should have access back?
Yeah, because y'all, let me tell you, when Debbie left, I had to change all the passwords. It's like, you know.
Yo, first of all, when I left, this bitch changed passwords in like 2 seconds.
I sure the fuck did. Oh, bitch, if you leave me, everything gets changed, okay?
Okay, first of all, let's just be clear, because a lot of y'all don't know this. I attempted to leave the show prior to me leaving the show.
Yeah.
And she changed the passwords while we was on the phone.
Yeah.
And I told her I was going to leave the show. Okay?
Yes.
She literally changed it. If you watch the show, you know that we did this. We talked about it on the show today. So the passwords was going to be changed. This time, I left the show. This motherfucker changed all the passwords, and I got blocked.
The bitch blocked me. She blocked me from Cash App.
Yeah, okay, so listen. If anybody know L'Oreal, they know when she blocks you, she leaves you block from everything.
Yes.
So I wanted to make sure, okay, if I'm blocked, bitch, we finna play this game together.
Well, bitch, you can't play the game with me. I'm the only one allowed to block.
She tried to send my daughter some money for her birthday, and she couldn't even send it.
How dare you not allow me to send my money to my child?
She was like, did you delete your Cash App?
And then the bitch is like, oh, hold on. You can send it now. She had me blocked. James Goldsmith said, block. Yeah, she blocked me from Cash App, old trifling hoe. But I'm back now. So I ran a poll. I'll let you have access to the IG, Dave, because I can't be running that all by myself. I be asleep sometimes. So I ran a poll, and the poll was, should sex be a priority in a relationship? All the men said yes.
Oh, you want me to my answer?
But that was the poll.
You know my male instincts kick in sometimes.
You said your what?
My male instincts kick in sometimes.
Okay.
They even come up and out sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Hell yes. But this is my female instinct.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Sex should definitely be a priority in a relationship. I'm not saying it should be the top, but it should be a priority. That's very important in a relationship.
It is. I'll be honest with you, no women answered the poll. It was all men. But all the men said yes. And I feel like sex is a priority in a relationship.
Sex is up there with money, time, loyalty, trust, all that.
Communication.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
All that. Sex is like one of the top 3. That's what I'm going to say. Sex is like top 3.
Yes. I'm trying to get... Look, if y'all get motion sickness, I'm sorry. I'm trying to...
Trying to get yourself right.
Trying to get comfortable. Comfortable. Mm-hmm. Comfortable. Comfortable. So we got a lot to dig into because Black History Month has started off with a bang. And not that good of a bang. But it has started off with a bang. So, what do you want to talk about first, Debbie?
Let's talk about Wendy ass.
Turn my headphone down a little bit.
In memory of 21 Savage.
Huh?
In memory of 21 Savage. Y'all know we from Anderson, so we might start shooting on the live real soon with 21 Savage playing.
Don't make me reach up on the couch.
No, that's crazy though. Like, you would never. I thought it was a lie when they said that he was from the UK and he was an immigrant and they had arrested him.
I thought it was fake.
I did too.
Me too.
And it's
I think it was crazy because it's like, hey, this nigga sound like he's straight out of Atlanta.
But you know what? I have friends in the UK, and I have friends from Trinidad, Tobago. Like, they can really switch up their accents. They can go from sounding like their home country and go to sounding like they're from the United States.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I read somewhere that said he's been here since he was like 7.
Yeah. And this man has kids. The last statement that I read was released by his management team. He is on 23 hours of lockdown, for one. And he has 3 kids, which I did not know he had 3 kids. And what they charged him with, from what I read, he should be out of there on bail. So actually, Jay-Z and Roc Nation have stepped up and they hired legal help for 21 Savage. And they say he's currently 26 years old and he's engaged. Didn't know that. And he's a father of 3. Did not know that. And
hold on, when did he get engaged?
I don't know.
Who is he engaged to?
Not me.
I mean, he's just not my type, so he wouldn't be engaged to me either.
And he's not engaged to me. But they said today that the arrest and detention of 21 Savage is an absolute travesty. His U.S. visa has been pending for 4 years, which is
4
crazy.
years, I've seen that.
In addition to being a successful recording artist, oh Lord, 21 deserves to be reunited with his children immediately, which is correct. And they said that they charge him. He's charged with the visa overstay, which is eligible for bond. But they are keeping him on lockdown for whatever reason. So it feels like they're trying to make an example out of him.
Right. Now, I remember, like, years ago, when I was working at Pastor Omnia, one of my supervisors, his wife was here on a marriage visa. But it's like hella shit that they have to go through.
Yeah.
To stay here. Like, they have to go through interrogation. Like, if their interrogation is like, what side of the bed do you sleep on? What do you normally eat when you, like, it's crazy, like, the questions that they ask. Because they want to see if, like, you're just here.
Or if you're really married.
Or you're here because you're really married.
My thing is, 21 is a millionaire, so I know they made some tax money off of him. Mm-hmm. And if his visa has been pending for 4 years, that's not his fault. That's the government's fault. That is the government. And if he came over as a child, as I read, once again, that's not his fault if he came over as a child and his visa wasn't renewed or whatever it is, because his parents were responsible for that. And then as an adult, if he filed for a visa and y'all have been pending it for 4 years, then that is the government's fault. Free 21 Savage. Free 21 Savage.
New Loose Lips podcast for that ass.
So, I'm praying for him. Shout out to Trap Star for the intro and the drops and all that great stuff. Let's see what else is on the docket, because like I said, Black History Month has just jumped. Let's see, all the grandmothers are in mourning right now because of Christoph St. John. You all may know him as Neil from Young and the Restless, has passed away at the age of 52.
Girl, both the grandmas, my feelings was hurt. Okay, girl, I sent my mama a picture of it.
Not big deal.
Okay. Sent my mama a picture of it, and she was like, "Oh Lord."
Yeah.
It's sad.
It is.
Like, I don't want to believe it. Like, I can't believe when I cut on Young and the Restless, I'm not going to see Neil anymore. Let me just say like this. If you watch Young and the Restless, you know, they going to show a black man, and it's going to be somebody slowly talking in the background and something say, the role of Neil Winters is now being played by
Will Smith. I just threw a name out there.
Really?
Yeah,
and then they're start talking like nothing happened. They're going to pick up the show like nothing happened.
Well, the last time I watched Young and the Restless, and this is just going to show how long it's been, Shamar Moore was still on there. And him, because Shamar Moore was playing his younger brother on the show, and they were both sleeping with, what was that girl named, Victoria? Neil's wife?
No. The wife's name was...
Hi, Miller. What was her name? Veronica? Victoria?
Damn. No, Victoria is Victor's daughter.
And how the hell he died before Victor?
Girl, listen. Victor is the OG of Young and the Restless, okay? If Victor died, they can never get anybody else to play his role, okay?
Victor out there slinging that AARP.
Drew, there you go.
Drew, thank you, Miller.
Drew.
Thank you, because I sure was Googling it.
Yes.
Woo, child.
Yes.
Drusilla Winters, that's her
And you
name.
know, she, her role, she never got killed off the show. She was in a car accident, and I think her car fell. They never killed her off the show. Like, they never found her body. So, you know, when they do that, you can always come back. But she had a lot of issues with her contract. She felt like she wouldn't get paid enough.
Well, you know, she need to get paid. I say, Miller says Drusilla was her name. If Victor died, shut the whole wine off.
Shut the whole time.
You
That's what
know,
I'm saying. It's no show without this.
I grew up on Days of Our Lives. And Stefano, even though he was the villain, that was my man, him and Bo Brady. And when they killed Bo off of Days of Our Lives and tried to put hope with a new man, you don't do that. And y'all know me, I'm an avid Twitterer. And I tweeted the man that plays Bo. I said, when you coming back? I said, 'cause hope I hit him, lost her damn mind. And he said he not coming back. So I didn't go back to Days of Our Lives.
You didn't go back.
I did not go back.
I don't know what I would do if they got rid of Victor. Like, I'm just so used to seeing Victor and Nikki. It don't make no sense.
And then the guy that
Now,
plays,
Nikki done had her some men now. She done had a few on. I mean, Victor done had a couple.
the guy that plays,
with every woman on there except his shirt.
the guy that plays Stefano, he died in real life. So
Okay.
they had no choice but to kind of, I think they killed him off on the show too, or he's like spoken of on the show, but you don't know if he's dead or alive. Because, you know, on soap operas, you could die today and be back tomorrow.
Honey, you can die today and have a new face tomorrow.
So anything goes on soap opera. So rest in peace to Christoph St. John, also known as Neil Winters on Young and the Restless. You will be missed. I don't know. Should I give him some gunshots? I don't know.
Shots fired.
I don't know. So, Taraji P. Henson got a star on the Walk of Fame. Finally.
She better do it.
You know, congratulations to her. I have loved her. Hand claps to her. I have loved her since Baby Boy, when she was cooking and cleaning and making those tacos for Jody.
Girl.
Now, speaking of Empire, Jussie Smollett. Now, this story, I just don't know what's going on with this story because I have heard so much about this story. He was at a Subway in Chicago, Illinois, and was approached by two white men who could possibly be Trump supporters, and they poured bleach on him, tied a noose around his neck, and shouted, some not so nice words to him. And from what I have read, instead of calling the police, he called, what's that man's name that directed Empire? Google it, Debbie. He called the producer Empire and went home. And from what I heard, he finished eating the sub and then called the police. That's what I heard. That's what I read. I don't know how true that is. A lot of people are not believing his story. Some people are believing his story. But I did see the video of him when he, performed for the first time since the attack. And he said he was the gay Tupac. Did you see that, Deborah?
Brian Grazer.
No.
And Diddy Strong and Francie Halflow.
For Empire?
The show is written by Strong and Lee Daniels.
That's it, Lee Daniels. That's who he called.
Okay.
Lee Daniels. That is who he called.
Okay. The director.
Yes. That's who he called. Miller says, sir, this is not a scene in Empire. Called him. Yes, he called himself the gay Tupac, and I was trying to figure out Why would you say
I'm just
that?
trying to figure out if you got attacked like that. I hope that story that you just said is not true, because there's no way you really called anybody outside the police and you went back and finished eating your food. First of all, if you was gonna go back and eat your food, did you wash first? We know your greedy ass to eat your food. You probably eat your food till the police got there.
I just want to let me tell you something. Not to cut you off there, but when I was in a wreck, I was on my way to Chili's. Me and my homegirls on the way to Chili's got to a wreck on Woodruff Road. And I tell you, when the police got done, we took that crippled ass car to Chili's still and ate. I wasn't gonna be injured and hungry. I had to choose a struggle. But continue.
No, my Android not froze.
I know it's not. You're not gonna judge me. You are not gonna judge me. You are not gonna judge me.
Either way it goes, the attack, if it happened the way it was said that it happened, it's very sad.
It is.
And it's very sad for the simple fact that this is the world that we still live in 2019.
It's because, and I hate to say this, but I feel like racism will never go away. Only because love births love, hate births hate. The way we teach our kids how to love and respect other people and respect other people's differences and how they live their life, you have people out here who are teaching their kids to hate it.
Yeah.
So, to me, it'll never die. And then with Trump in the White House, and he's, stirring up this, racist fire, so to speak, speaking to all the bigots and so forth out there, to me, it's just, it's a never ending cycle.
Okay, so since we mentioned him,
Yes.
that guy,
Yes, that man.
we weren't doing a podcast then, and I'm gonna let you know right now, had my child been a Clemson football player, your ass would not have traveled to no Washington, D.C. to see him.
Me and, hold on, Devin. Oh, dang it.
Oh,
Yeah.
come back.
Oh, help. Oh, help again. There you go. All right. So, shout out to Trap Star. I was a guest host on his podcast. I just make my podcast rounds. Just going out speaking to the people. Let them know I got an album coming. We discussed that. First of all, to me, I was just like, I don't feel like Trump represents anything that Clemson represents. So I didn't understand why they would go, because you can decline the invitation. You do not have to go.
I think they went because it was the White House.
I don't
I
care.
think that's why the coaches accepted it.
No.
Because it was the White House.
I do not
My
care.
child would not have went.
No.
Period. Point blank. They would not have went. Period.
And then
when y'all got there, his food choice.
4 for 4.
There's plenty of restaurants that you could have ordered food from.
Ruth Chris.
That still was operating because your ass shut down the government.
And people are still suffering behind it. And he might shut it down again come February 15th if he don't get this money for this wall. And people will be in the same boat that they were in before.
I feel like, too, he did all of this because he really don't want all the Democrats in his business.
He don't. I don't know if you watched the State of the Union last night, but he basically said, stay out my business. Stop trying to investigate me and all this other type of stuff.
Yeah, you don't want the Democrats in your business. That's why you really shut the government down. Let's just be clear.
Yeah. And he want the wall.
The damn wall that you keep saying that we got to build.
People don't understand. Donald Trump is the modern day Adolf Hitler. He has concentration camps. They don't call them that, but that's what they are. Concentration camps for the immigrants, for the children when they come across the border, and they're separating the families. They're separating the parents from their kids. Some kids are dying in their custody. This wall represents his racism. Because let's be very clear. There are other entry points to get in through America. You can come through Canada.
What about the tunnels that's already up underground?
Yes. The tunnels that lets El Chapo, that's what he used to escape prison the very first time. El Chapo, if by chance Loose Lips Podcast gets into your hands, I just want to let you know that I read this on CNN.com that you had built these tunnels. Nobody told me this. I don't need you to send your people towards me because I support you because I feel like you were just trying to make a way for your family and your friends. And I really don't understand why they're doing this to you because to me, you just hard worker. So I don't want you to think that I told the government that you had those tunnels. I read that on CNN.com, free El Chapo. But what I was saying is that you can come in through Florida. You got all the East Coast open. He is just so racist because you know what? The immigrants that look like him come through Canada or come through the East Coast, like New York and stuff. Because if you know your history, back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and towards the end of the 50s, immigrants would come in through Ellis Island on New York City. And they would register you there. Ellis Island is like a tourist attraction. Now you can see the books when they would sign it and come through. And they would accept you and teach you the American way. Like you still will have your culture, but welcome to America. They don't do that no more. He's just racist. He doesn't want Latinos over here. He doesn't want Mexicans over here. He feels like they're criminals. He feels like...
He don't want anybody over here that don't look like him.
But this is
First of all, sir, nobody looks like your ugly ass.
First of all, Hitler. Well, that's his name. First of all, Trump, let's be honest. Some of the biggest criminals in history look like you. Are Caucasian. Okay? Caucasian. I don't care if you're from Germany, Italy, America. They are white. They have pasty skin. Adolf Hitler, Ted Bundy. Okay? The man that bombed the Oklahoma City. Okay? Serial killers. Black people ain't got time to be sitting out here praying on people. Yes. Dylan Roof. You know, black people, it's not too many black serial killers. You know, because we ain't got time for that. You know, we really don't hate that many people.
I still remember back when we had the serial killer that was knocking people out, and we just knew that they was white.
Oh, girl, you talking about the snipers out of DC? Child, when they released the pictures, I was like, "What is you doing? What is you doing? This is a video game. Go bad, huh? We don't do this, child. What you doing?"
Girl, I will never forget my mouth dropping open when I seen them black pictures go up.
Girl, see, they had to get us back for OJ. They had to get us back. They was like, listen, OJ got off for killing them two white people. We got to get their asses back somehow.
Yeah. And they going to say the gloves fit this time.
Yeah. That man said the glove don't fit, you must have quit. That go for some of y'all with small penises. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit. That means you must get your ass up. Okay?
Listen, if you pull out a lifestyle, get your life.
That's why I say some of y'all I have said it before on the show, men with small penises need to be separated from like I need to be on the island by yourself.
General population.
Yes. We don't want you near us. Okay?
They being like a little.
Yeah, and this is the part of the BET movie where we look at the camera and we say, this is part where I fucked up at. So, Lord, who was talking about? We was talking about Adolf, Donald Trump, Hitler. Do you want to talk about Tekashi 6ix9ine?
I don't really follow him or what he got going on. He not my cup of tea, so if you got something to say about him, I don't.
Okay, well, I'm just going to briefly touch on it. So, everybody knows Tekashi 6ix9ine was picked up by the feds. For some federal charges. Hold on, I'm going to pull them up because I don't want to get them all mixed up. But to make a long story short, Tekashi 6ix9ine has portrayed himself as a gangster.
As a what?
A gangster. You know, Loose Lips Podcast is racially sophisticated. He has portrayed himself as
a... You get the shirt?
Yes. Yeah, we bringing the shirts back. The feds, listen, y'all ain't about to lock us down no more. We got to get our coins. Okay? All right. Y'all did a sweep last...
All right.
Y'all tried to do a sweep last year, but we back. So, Tekashi 6ix9ine portrayed himself as a gangster. Hardcore rap. So, basically, in a nutshell, he was picked up by the feds. And, he is now working with the feds. He is now basically giving them information on certain things that have happened and possibly telling on some of his comrades. And because of him working with the feds, they have moved him to a different prison. So here it is. The rapper was arrested on racketeering and other offenses according to the U.S. attorney, and he faces 32 years in jail. The sentence will be for life in prison. It stems from his involvement with the 9 Trey Bloods. You know, I did not know that the Bloods were, there was different departments of the gang. I did not know that. So the 9 Trey Bloods are a New York gang and also known as Treyway, which Tekashi 6ix9ine has mentioned on Twitter. And if you listen to Tekashi 6ix9ine, he shouts it out in his music. Let's see here. Tekashi has evaded jail time on previous charges, including child sex offenses from 2015. But experts believe the racketeering charges could mean a lengthy jail spell for the star. For those who don't know, racketeering is when people use criminal actions to repeatedly take money from others and most likely associated with protection rackets. It was a 5-year federal investigation. He's also facing a number of other charges, including drug dealing, involvement in an armed robbery, and conspiracy to commit murder. He pleaded guilty to performing a sexual act on a 13-year-old in 2015. And was on 4-year probation for that. But now he's working with the feds. Yes.
So, he know he might as well be better off staying in jail, right?
Yeah. I mean,
because you're not going to be able to come out here on these streets.
You're not. And he struck a plea deal. So that means he told some stuff.
He told
some stuff.
Listen. If your homie came home from the feds, if your homie got a plea deal from the feds, nigga, he is not your homie. You told. T-O-L-D, told.
And for those, Lord,
somebody.
Why is my tablet trying to die? We don't need those problems. And trying to think. I'm trying to think where my charger was at, so I could try to charge it. But the way it's standing up, that's where the thingy go in the hole. So yeah. So Tekashi 6ix9ine, he caught the plea deal. So he's working with the feds. My thing is, if you do the crime, just do the time. Just lay down, do your time. You know, going back to your business, if you happen to be the one that get hemmed up, don't bring down everybody with you. Everybody didn't get caught.
Everybody got to be their family.
Yes, everybody didn't get caught. You got caught.
If they your homie, if they holding you down, homie, everybody outside them walls is still straight while you behind them walls.
And this is another thing. Anybody who really been in the streets like that, me and Debbie are no thugs. In no way, shape, or form. If this podcast happens to get in the hands of anybody associated with the government. But we know real street people. And real street, I'm the sophisticated, she's the ratchet. Real street people don't just, Lucid's podcast is ratchetly sophisticated. Real street dudes don't broadcast that they street. That's like real bosses don't have to go on social media or every 5 minutes scream, "Oh, I'm a boss." You just know. Their aura speaks it. Their resume speaks it for themselves. It's not something that they have to broadcast. So if you ever come across...
You don't have to be heard. Okay?
Yeah.
We rather see you than hear you. Now, me, I'm the type, I don't like flashy.
Yeah.
I don't care about none of that extra stuff that you got going on. I don't give a damn. I do not.
Let me tell you something.
Care.
If someone has to repeatedly say, "Oh, I'm real," "Oh, I'm a thug," or I was in the streets, or I'm doing this, or if I'm doing that, or if I'm a boss. If they constantly have to say that, if they constantly do that, that means that they are not only trying to convince you, they're trying to convince themselves, because that's not really what they're about.
We ain't got time for it.
We ain't got time for that. So, we know the real and we know the
Walk
fake.
it like it's talking, okay?
Okay?
Just walk it. Don't talk it.
I was just sick of it.
Who's gonna put it on the shirt? Walk it. Don't talk it.
P from Quality Control Music, if this podcast just so happens to get into your hands and you see that shirt come out, you can sue Debbie. All by herself.
Walk it. Don't talk it. That's not what they said.
I know, but just in case, if they try, I will give you her address.
First of all, if we make sure and they sell, the money's going to both of us. So, you can sue both of us.
First of all, P, I don't want you to sue me. I'm going to be honest, P. I just want to rub your belly. P, if this podcast ever gets into your hands, first of all, let me just say that I admire your work ethic, okay?
So maybe if we make the shirts, we can get him to get in touch with us, and then you can rub his belly.
You know, I
found
found the address to Quality Control. You know I'm good at finding address. We just gonna drive down
Girl,
there.
you can find anything. If you're looking for somebody that might be in jail, boy, she can find a fee.
I can find jail records. I can find records that don't exist. So there it is. Oh my God. Also, I forgot to mention this. Goodness grief. Oh, you know, I be all over the place. So I apologize. We have a sponsor for this episode. I totally freaking forgot. So I apologize. And I've logged into the wrong account. But this episode is sponsored by the Black Tux. You can find them on Instagram at the Black Tux. And they are sponsoring this week's episode of Lucifer's Podcast. So shout out to them. Make sure you follow them on Instagram, the Black Tux. Hashtag the Black Tux. Just be all over the place. The Black Tux. Yes. So, what are we going to discuss tonight?
If we're still going with the topic that's on the thing.
And that was your topic? The bashing?
I had the one that's listed up on the poll of the week, or are you talking about the topic?
The topic.
Okay, so the topic.
Yes.
Listen, people. Coming from a woman that has 2 children, 2 fathers, maybe not say baby daddies. They have 2 different fathers. We don't always agree, but people, you laid down with these people and had unprotected sex, okay? At no point is it okay to bash your baby mother or baby father on social media in front of your child. No, there's at no point are either one of those okay. Any type of conversations that need to be had that y'all disagree on, honey, baby doll, honey boo boo, homeboy, whatever you want to call yourself, y'all got each other's numbers, okay? If y'all don't have each other's numbers, why the hell would y'all even stick together without a condom?
Some people do.
Please stop bashing y'all other parents on social media. That is so stupid and childish. At your age, there's some shit that go on between some teenagers. I can see if you were 16 doing something like that.
Can we just stop bashing people, period, on social media? Because y'all just don't know how stupid. First of all, I have 2 kids myself. They come from 2 different DNAs. I have never bashed either one of their DNAs on social media. You know why? Because at the end of the day, it's not going to make them step up to do what they're supposed to do. They're going to do it if they want to. And if they don't, my kids will still be greatly taken care of. And what it does is invite people into your business who either A, don't care, B, don't care, C, don't care. D don't care and go tell somebody else so they can come look on your page or screenshot it. It's ridiculous. And when y'all do that, when y'all in relationships, it invites, first of all, I'm so tired already. When you have kids, even if that person is not doing what they're supposed to do, you still have to show some type of respect. Some type of respect, because at the end of the day, kids do grow up. What you put out there on the internet stays now. And, you know, it's not going to change the situation. If going on social media bashing... It
stresses you out more than anything.
Yes. Because then you got all these people comment that don't really care. Or my favorite comment, do I need to pull up? No, bitch. No, you don't need to pull up.
You pull up paying a bill?
Like, you don't. Naja said, them my kids. Yes, those are your kids, Nike. And come get your damn kids. You was a horrible father. But it does not make the situation.
Nothing.
Just like...
At the end of the day, you still got to take care of them.
Yes. And it's just like if you in a relationship and you and your spouse getting into it, or y'all break up and y'all go on social media bashing one another. First of all, it's somebody out there, or it's a handful of people, whomever, out there waiting to see a break in your relationship. And if they
want to see a fraction.
If they see one little crack, they own it. Don't invite all these unnecessary people into your business.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that at home. Because it don't change the situation. Honestly, you doing that makes the situation worse. Because if you bash your child's parent that's not helping you take care of them, of course they're going to get wind of it. And then they're going to go to social media with it. Because it's always three sides to the story.
Y'all be saying this and she's saying that. And I seen a meme one day. It was like, y'all want to see disrespect? Look at baby mama and baby daddy argue. Boy, that's some disrespect right there. I'm not talking.
Yeah, and then the arguments don't even be about the child. It start off about the child, then they start bringing up some stuff in the past. Because really, when you see parents going back and forth, it really ain't got nothing to do with the child. It got something to do with how that relationship ended. Someone that didn't do right by the other person in the relationship, and they still holding on to it. Somebody feelings. You know, it really ain't got nothing to do with that child at the end of the day. It's about however what happened in that relationship, and somebody's still holding on to it.
Somebody just real sour.
Real soft. Nike says it's still true. It's still gonna be together. Yes,
it is.
It
I'm
is.
telling you right now, half of them that's arguing on social media is probably still fucking.
Half of them arguing on social media is in the same house together. Listen to each other. Notifications go off as they argue with one another. Okay, let's be honest.
I'm done with her.
I mean, it's the truth.
That's just never been my thing. Like, I can't see myself getting on social media and bashing either one of my baby daddies. Like, it's just not gonna happen. I don't give a damn. Listen, no matter what you are doing or no matter what you are not doing, I still gotta do what I gotta do, and I don't got time to worry about it.
Yeah.
I don't have time to worry about it.
Ooh, child, my tablet is on 5%. I cannot believe this. Y'all, let me tell y'all what happened. So Debbie called me this morning. Normally I play my music from my tablet in the morning while I'm getting ready. Well, when she called me, I did not turn my music off. I just turned it down. So when I left the house, I did not turn off my music, so it played all day. And by the time I realized my tablet was on low percentage, we were getting ready to record.
At the end of the day, Miss Yolanda, at the end of the day, when you're bashing one another, it only makes the one doing the bashing it's really hurt, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, it gets from one bashing to the other coming, and it's like a back and forth thing. Y'all, let it go.
Let me tell you something.
You get mad when people comment on it. Like, why are you getting mad because
you invited people into it?
Public.
You invited people. Let me tell you something.
And the one doing the bashing look hurt. Yeah, you're right.
I don't bash either one of my kids' DNA offerers. Okay. The people that donated their DNA to my kids, I don't bash either one of them.
You are greatly appreciated.
Now, I will admit, in my younger days, I bashed an ex on social media. And I looked real stupid doing that. And I learned my lesson. I will never do that again. Because I invited so many people already into an unhappy home. And at the end of the day, I stayed with him. So what was the point of me going on social media to bash this man? And I'm still with him.
When y'all talking about each other,
yes.
And next thing you know, y'all hooked up
yes.
on Facebook or Instagram or somebody see y'all out. What, y'all just arguing?
And he said, I learned so much from that relationship and putting stuff on social media. Like now, I don't share nothing on social media unless it's some funny memes or if it got anything to do with my brands. I don't even share my kids. Let me tell you something. Next relationship I get into, I ain't even gonna know him.
Oh, well, I want to know him. I don't want to end up with a serial killer in my house.
And if I ever post a man on my social media, just know it ain't serious. Because if it's serious, he will never go on my social media.
I had a conversation with somebody about that. Posting their significant others on social media.
I mean, I don't get me wrong. I like looking at the happy relationships and stuff. But, I mean, based off of my prior dealings, that's just not something that I'm going to do.
Let's just be clear. I feel like a few of the extra social media relationships that we see are just social media relationships. And I would prefer you not to post me if you got me out here looking stupid.
Yeah, because that's...
9 out of 10, somebody is looking at them pictures like, oh, for real? That's how you feel? That's not what you said last night?
Because let's be honest, when we see some of these couples being posted, we like, oh...
You got a girlfriend.
Oh, you have a wife. Oh, you have a wife.
Oh, you got a husband.
Let me tell you
You
something.
got a ring.
I had this dude message me. It had to be last week on my Snapchat. Now, he's a whole married man. And he commented on one of my selfies I posted.
And don't forget that the cleanup woman out there lurking.
I had a guy comment on one of my pictures on Snapchat with the heart eye emoji. He was like, you're so beautiful. And I was just like, thank you. Now go and cook your wife some breakfast because it was early in the morning. And he was like, yeah, well, hopefully one day you'll be a wife. And I said, yeah, hopefully one day you'll stay out of single women DMs. Come on now. Because let me tell you something. You come in my messenger and I know you got a girlfriend trying to talk to me. I'm going to add her to the chat. And then y'all can sit in there and talk to each other. I'm big petty. I'm big petty.
She's big petty.
I will do that.
If y'all don't know that.
I will do that.
You laid down with me.
Why ain't nobody... I did not know. Jesus.
Who you lay down with?
I was on Facebook looking at the... Shut up, ho.
With these people?
I'm sitting here all comfortable.
Okay. Why ain't nobody... I did not know. Jesus.
My shirt, I'm thinking like I'm looking at myself on the tablet, right? So I can't see like down this way. So I'm thinking y'all can't see that. My shirt is all rolled up at the bottom there. Ain't nobody told me nothing. And you're not even paying attention. Just like a nigga. Y'all, she gone again.
I'm not gone.
What are you doing?
Hold on.
Debbie, we're doing a show.
Check your phone.
But why you... Okay, well, what we shall do is the first episode back. We're going to cut it a little short. Maybe we should do this show over. Should we do this episode over?
I don't think we should. I think this is a good episode.
This is a good one, so we're going to run it?
Yeah. We're going to run it.
All right, we'll run the episode then.
Run it.
And once again, Loosely Podcast is Rationally Sophisticated. I'm the sophistication. Debbie is the ratchetness. So we know this is kind of late, but we appreciate the few that did join in tonight. Anything you want to share before we go, Deborah?
Yes, my Charlotte listeners, if you are tuning in, I have my first Eyebrow 101 class in Charlotte. Location is on my Instagram page. There's a link in my bio. You can click on it to purchase your ticket. Ticket is $20. I'm tired of seeing y'all walking around with these crazy looking eyebrows. Trying to help you get you right. There you go.
Also, before we go, make sure you follow Loose Lips Podcast on Instagram. Our Instagram name is Loose Lips Pod. The name on Twitter is Loose Lips with 2 S's. If you have any questions, any topics, make sure you email us at looselipspodcast@gmail.com. Lips is with 2 S's. Make sure you tune in. This episode will be dropping tomorrow along with the official episode for the TCM podcast. So I am now on 2 podcasts. Whoop, whoop. Also, we have something dropping for CIAA. I'm just waiting on the information to come, so stay tuned for that. Also, let me just shout out a few people. If you in Greenville, South Carolina, and you want your nails done and you want them done right, hit up my girl, Naki O'Neil, Naja O'Neil. She is my nail tech and also a great friend of mine. And we also have something in the works, too, for the women of the upstate. Follow the fam, TCM_2450 on Facebook as well as Instagram. Shout out to everybody that tuned into our live last night. We are up to over 7K viewers of that, so we greatly appreciate the love and support. We also have our model casting call coming up February 23rd in Anderson, South Carolina for the TCM Apparel, so make sure you guys check us out there as well. I will be in Anderson, South Carolina all freaking next weekend for some events, so actually pull up on your girl if you want some interviews or whatnot, or network, or whoop whoop, all that great stuff. Yeah, and that's about it. Anything else, Deborah? Well, that is it for Loose Lips Podcast. Thank you all for tuning in, and have a great night.